Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a moment right now and just breathe with me. Let your shoulders drop, soften your face, and allow yourself to be exactly where you are in this moment. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do right now except receive these words with an open heart. I know you're here because something inside you is tired. Tired of running, tired of pushing, tired of feeling like you're always reaching for something that seems just out of grasp. Maybe you've been chasing success, chasing love, chasing approval, or chasing that feeling of finally being enough. And perhaps, like so many precious souls I've had the honor to guide over the years, you're discovering that the harder you chase, the more elusive your dreams become. I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You haven't been doing it wrong, and you're not broken. What you're experiencing is simply the natural result of living in a world that has taught us that everything good must be earned through struggle, that we must prove our worthiness through endless effort, and that rest and ease are somehow selfish or lazy. Today, we're going to explore a different way, a way that feels like coming home to yourself, a way that honors the truth of who you are at your very core. Because you, dear one, are not meant to live your life in constant pursuit. You are meant to live from a place of magnetic attraction, where the things that are truly meant for you flow to you with the same natural ease that flowers turn toward the sun. I've spent decades learning this truth, not just in my mind, but in my bones, in my heart, in every cell of my being. And what I've discovered is that when we stop chasing and start attracting, life becomes not just easier, but more beautiful, more authentic, and infinitely more fulfilling. The energy we once spent in desperate pursuit becomes available for creation, for joy, for the kind of deep satisfaction that can only come from living in alignment with our true nature. This isn't about becoming passive or giving up on your dreams. This is about discovering a way of being that draws your heart's desires to you like a magnet draws iron filings. It's about learning to work with the natural laws of the universe instead of against them. It's about coming home to a truth that has always lived within you but perhaps got buried under layers of conditioning and cultural programming. As we journey together through these next precious moments, I invite you to let go of any need to figure it all out right now. Let go of the urge to immediately fix or change anything about yourself. Simply allow these words to wash over you like warm, healing water, trusting that whatever you need to receive will find its way into your heart and soul. You are safe here, you are loved here, and you are exactly where you need to be. Now let's gently explore why so many of us find ourselves trapped in this exhausting pattern of chasing. It's not by accident, and it's certainly not because there's something fundamentally wrong with us. We live in a culture that has made an art form out of striving. From the moment we're born, we're surrounded by messages that tell us we must earn our place in this world, that we must prove our value through achievements, that we must work harder and faster and longer to deserve the good things in life. Think about the language we use every day. We talk about making it happen, going after what we want, fighting for our dreams, hustling our way to success. Even our most well-meaning friends and family members encourage us to chase our dreams and go get what we want. The very words we use are steeped in the energy of pursuit, of effort, of forcing life to bend to our will. This isn't anyone's fault. This is simply the water we've been swimming in for so long that we've forgotten there might be another way to move through life. We've been taught that anything worth having requires struggle, that ease is suspicious, and that if something comes too easily, it probably isn't valuable or lasting. But what happens when we live from this place of constant chase? What happens to our nervous system, our relationships, our sense of self when we're always running towards something that seems to stay just beyond our reach? Our bodies become tight, our minds become anxious, and our hearts become heavy with the weight of trying so hard. We develop what I like to call chaser's fatigue, that bone-deep exhaustion that comes not from physical exertion, but from the mental and emotional strain of constantly pushing against the natural flow of life. When we're in chasing energy, we send out a vibration of lack, of desperation, of I don't have what I need. And the universe, in its perfect responsiveness, gives us more situations that match that vibration, more experiences of not having, more feelings of separation from what we desire, more evidence that life is hard and dreams are elusive. It's like trying to catch a butterfly with a net. The more frantically we wave that net around, the more the butterfly dances away from us. But if we simply sit quietly in the garden, often the butterfly will come and land gently on our shoulder, blessing us with its presence without any effort on our part. Nature shows us this truth everywhere we look. Rivers don't chase their way to the ocean. They flow naturally toward their destination, following the path of least resistance. Flowers don't strain and struggle to bloom. They simply open when the conditions are right. Trees don't exhaust themselves trying to grow. They root deeply and reach naturally toward the light. Yet somehow, we've been conditioned to believe that human desires and dreams operate differently, that we must force and push and struggle our way toward what we want. We've forgotten that we too are part of nature, and that the same laws that govern the growth of flowers and the flow of rivers also govern the manifestation of our deepest longings. When we're caught in the chase, we often mistake activity for progress. We confuse being busy with being productive. We tell ourselves that if we're not constantly doing something to move toward our goals, we're being lazy or irresponsible. But there's a profound difference between inspired action and desperate action, between effort that flows from trust and effort that flows from fear. Inspired action feels light, even when it requires work. It feels aligned, purposeful, and sustainable. Desperate action, on the other hand, feels heavy, forced, and ultimately draining. When we're chasing, most of our actions come from this desperate place, which is why they often lead to burnout rather than breakthrough. The energy of chasing also creates a subtle but powerful dynamic of resistance in the field around us. When we're pushing towards something with desperate energy, we're unconsciously communicating that we don't trust life to support us, that we don't believe we're worthy of receiving without earning, that we don't have faith in the natural timing of things. This resistance doesn't just exhaust us, it actually repels the very things we're trying so hard to attract. It's as if we're trying to pull someone toward us while simultaneously pushing them away. The mixed signals we send out create confusion in the energetic field, making it much more difficult for our desires to find their way to us. To understand why we fall into this pattern of chasing, we need to look gently at where it all began. Most of us learned very early in life that love, attention, and approval were things we had to earn. Perhaps we discovered that when we achieved something, got good grades, cleaned our room, behaved well, we received praise and affection. When we didn't meet expectations, love felt withdrawn or conditional. This isn't about blaming our parents or caregivers. They were doing their best with the tools and understanding they had, just as their parents did before them. This pattern of conditional love and earned worth has been passed down through generations, creating a collective belief that we must prove our value through our actions and achievements. As children, our little hearts naturally concluded that love and good things come to those who work hard enough, who are good enough, who earn them. We internalize the message that we are not inherently worthy of receiving simply because we exist. Instead, we learned that our worth must be demonstrated, our lovability must be proven, and our dreams must be chased down and captured through sheer force of will. These early experiences create what we might call earning patterns in our nervous system. Our bodies learn to associate effort with safety, struggle with worthiness, and ease with danger. When things come too easily, our nervous system might actually create anxiety because it doesn't match the early programming of having to work hard for everything good. Many of us also received messages about scarcity during our formative years. Perhaps we heard that money doesn't grow on trees, that good things are hard to come by, that we can't have everything we want, or that we need to grab opportunities when they come because they might not come again. These messages, though often spoken with loving intent, planted seeds of fear and competition in our young minds. We learned to see life as a race where only the fastest and strongest win. We learn to view resources, whether love, money, opportunities, or attention, as limited commodities that we must compete for and chase after. We learn to mistrust the natural abundance of life and instead prepare for scarcity by working harder, pushing more, and never quite relaxing into the possibility that we might be supported and provided for. These early patterns also shaped our relationship with receiving. Many of us learned that it's better to give than to receive, that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that we should be self-sufficient and independent. While these qualities have their place, when taken to extremes, they can create an energetic wall around us that makes it difficult for good things to flow into our lives. We may have also absorbed beliefs about what kinds of people deserve good things. Perhaps we learned that only certain types of people, the smart ones, the beautiful ones, the lucky ones, the ones with connections, get to live lives of ease and abundance. We might have concluded that we don't fit into those categories, and therefore must work twice as hard to get half as much. The fear patterns that developed from these early experiences run deep in our nervous system. The fear that if we stop pushing, nothing will happen. The fear that if we're not constantly vigilant and active, opportunities will pass us by. The fear that ease equals laziness, that rest equals giving up, and that trusting means being naive. These fears feel very real because they were formed when we were young and vulnerable, when our survival truly did depend on the approval and care of the adults around us. Our nervous system learned to associate constant effort with safety and worthiness, and these patterns can feel like truth even when they no longer serve us. But here's what I want you to understand with every fiber of your being. Those early conclusions were formed by a child who was doing their best to make sense of a complex world. They were survival strategies that helped you navigate your early environment. They served a purpose then, but they don't have to define your experience now. The truth that was hidden from that precious child, and perhaps from you even now, is that you were born worthy. You came into this world deserving of love, abundance, joy, and all good things, not because of what you might achieve or how hard you might work, but simply because you exist. You are a beloved expression of life itself, and life wants nothing more than to shower you with its gifts. The patterns of chasing and earning that feel so familiar are not your true nature. They are learned behaviors that can be gently unlearned. They are temporary stories that can be lovingly rewritten. They are old programming that can be updated with new, more truthful software. Your true nature is magnetic, not desperate. Your true nature is attractive, not chasing. Your true nature is receptive to the good that life wants to give you, not closed off by fear and over-effort. And as we continue this journey together, we'll explore how to return to this truth, how to come home to the magnetic being you were always meant to be. The journey back to your natural state of worthiness begins with a simple but profound recognition. You already are what you've been trying so hard to become. You already possess what you've been chasing so desperately. The worthiness you've been trying to earn through achievements, through perfection, through the approval of others, has been yours from the very beginning. I know this might be difficult to accept if you've spent years believing otherwise. Your mind might immediately jump to all the reasons why you're not worthy yet, all the things you still need to accomplish, all the ways you still need to improve before you can claim your place at the table of life. But I invite you to consider, just for a moment, that these thoughts are not truth. They're simply the echo of old programming. When you were born, you didn't arrive with a list of qualifications you needed to meet. You didn't come with terms and conditions attached to your right to exist and thrive. You came as pure worthiness, innocent and open, naturally expecting to be loved and cared for simply because you were here. That baby you once were knew, without question, that they deserved attention, nourishment, comfort, and affection. What happened to that knowing? It got buried under layers of conditioning, but it never disappeared. It's still there, waiting patiently for you to remember. Every cell in your body carries the memory of that original worthiness. Every breath you take is proof that life believes you deserve to be here. Your worth is not something you achieve. It's something you are. It's not something you earn. It's something you embody. It's not something you prove. It's something you remember. And this remembering is not an intellectual exercise. It's a coming home to a feeling, a returning to a state of being that is as natural to you as breathing. When you begin to reclaim your inherent worthiness, something magical happens in your energy field. The desperate vibration of "I'm not enough" begins to transform into the peaceful knowing of "I am enough exactly as I am." This shift is subtle but profound, and it changes everything about how you move through the world and how the world responds to you. People who truly know their worth don't chase. They don't beg or plead or convince. They don't exhaust themselves trying to prove their value. Instead, they simply be. They rest in the quiet confidence of their own enoughness, and from that place, they naturally attract experiences and people who recognize and honor their value. You can begin to reconnect with your worthiness in this very moment through the gentlest of practices. Place your hand on your heart and feel it beating. This heart has been beating for you since before you were born, working tirelessly to keep you alive and thriving. It doesn't beat harder when you achieve something and slower when you fail. It simply beats with steady, unconditional love for the being you are. Look at your hands. These miraculous instruments that allow you to touch, to create, to comfort, to connect. They don't become more worthy when they accomplish tasks and less worthy when they rest. They are perfect expressions of the creative force of life, worthy of reverence simply because they exist. Consider your breath, flowing in and out without your conscious effort, connecting you to the very air that surrounds our planet. You don't earn your next breath through good behavior. Life gives it to you freely, generously, moment after moment, because you are valued and cherished by existence itself. When you begin to see yourself through the eyes of life itself, not through the eyes of your critics, your fears, or your conditioned mind, you start to understand that your worth is not up for debate. It's not something that can be added to or subtracted from based on your performance. It's a fundamental truth about who you are. This recognition of your inherent worth begins to shift your relationship with everything in your life. Instead of approaching opportunities from a place of proving yourself, you approach them from a place of sharing your gifts. Instead of entering relationships from a place of earning love, you enter them from a place of expressing love. Instead of pursuing dreams from a place of desperation, You pursue them from a place of joyful expansion. As you settle more deeply into this truth of your worthiness, you naturally begin to release the beliefs that have kept you trapped in patterns of scarcity and limitation. These beliefs, formed in childhood and reinforced by culture, have been like invisible walls around your life, determining what you think is possible for you and what you believe you deserve. Scarcity thinking whispers that there isn't enough to go around, not enough love, not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough success. It tells you that if someone else wins, you lose. If someone else gets the promotion, the relationship, the recognition, there's less available for you. This belief creates a sense of competition and urgency that fuels the chasing energy we've been exploring. But abundance thinking, which is actually just clear seeing, recognizes that we live in an infinitely creative universe. The same force that creates billions of stars and countless varieties of flowers can certainly create enough good for everyone. The same intelligence that grows forests and fills oceans with life has more than enough resources to fulfill every sincere desire of every human heart. The shift from scarcity to abundance thinking isn't about positive thinking or denying practical realities. It's about aligning with the truth of how life actually works. When you plant a seed in fertile soil and provide it with water and sunlight, it doesn't struggle to grow. It naturally expands into its full potential because that's what life does. Life seeks to express itself more fully, more beautifully, more abundantly. You are an expression of this same life force. The desires in your heart are life seeking to experience and express itself through you. Your dreams are not separate from the creative intelligence of the universe. They are movements of that intelligence, impulses toward greater expression and experience. When you recognize this truth, you begin to understand that your desires are not competing with anyone else's. Your success doesn't diminish anyone else's possibilities. Your abundance doesn't create anyone else's scarcity. In fact, the more fully you step into your own abundance, the more you contribute to the abundance available to everyone. This doesn't mean that practical considerations don't matter or that you should ignore the need for wise planning and action. It means that you approach practical matters from a foundation of abundance rather than fear, from trust rather than worry, from creativity rather than limitation. Old beliefs about scarcity might tell you that you need to hoard resources, grab opportunities quickly before they disappear, or settle for less than you truly want because asking for more is greedy or unrealistic. Abundance thinking knows that resources are always flowing, that opportunities are constantly being created, and that settling for less than your heart truly desires serves no one. As these limiting beliefs begin to dissolve, you create space for new, more expansive beliefs to take root. You begin to understand that the universe is not neutral. It's actually biased toward your success, your happiness, your fulfillment. Life wants you to thrive because when you thrive, life itself gets to experience the joy of thriving through you. This shift in belief naturally leads to a transformation in your energetic presence. Instead of radiating the contracted energy of lack and limitation, you begin to emanate the expansive energy of possibility and abundance. And this is where the magic of magnetic attraction begins to work in your life. Becoming magnetically attractive has nothing to do with manipulation or forcing others to give you what you want. True magnetic attraction is about aligning your inner state with the vibration of what you desire, becoming such a clear match for your dreams that they naturally gravitate towards you. Think about people you know who seem to effortlessly attract good things into their lives. They're not necessarily the most talented, the most beautiful, or the most accomplished. But there's something about their presence that draws opportunities, people, and experiences to them. What you're sensing is their energetic alignment, they've learned to embody the frequency of what they want to create. This inner work of becoming magnetic begins with feeling, not thinking about having what you want, but actually feeling what it would feel like to already have it. This might seem like make-believe at first, but it's actually one of the most practical things you can do to change your life. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently practice feeling grateful for what you want as if you already have it, you train your system to recognize and receive those experiences when they show up in your external world. This isn't about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about accessing the emotional truth of your fulfilled desires. Somewhere inside you, there's a part that already knows what it feels like to be loved completely, to be financially free, to be creatively fulfilled, to be vibrant and healthy. This inner knowing is your guidance system, showing you the frequency you want to embody. When you practice feeling into this fulfilled state regularly, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing from a place of lack and start attracting from a place of wholeness. You stop trying to fill a void and start overflowing with the abundance that's always been your birthright. The key is to make this feeling practice as real and vivid as possible. If you want to attract love, spend time each day feeling deeply loved. If you want to create financial abundance, spend time feeling financially free and generous. If you want to express your creativity, spend time feeling the joy and satisfaction of creative fulfillment. Notice that none of this requires you to have the external circumstances yet. This is inner work, alignment work, that prepares your magnetic field to receive what you're calling in. It's like tuning a radio to the frequency of the station you want to hear. Once you're tuned in, the signal comes through clearly. This feeling practice also helps you recognize the difference between what you think you want and what you actually want. Sometimes we chase things because we believe they'll make us feel a certain way, only to discover that the feeling we were really seeking was available to us all along. When you get clear on the feeling you're after, you open yourself to receiving it in ways you might never have imagined. As you cultivate these aligned feelings, you naturally begin to take different kinds of actions. Instead of desperate actions born from fear and lack, you find yourself taking inspired actions that feel light and flowing. These actions don't feel like pushing against resistance. They feel like dancing with the current of life. As you begin this beautiful journey of aligning with your magnetic nature, you'll likely encounter what feels like resistance. This is completely natural and nothing to be concerned about. Your old patterns of chasing and striving have been with you for a long time, and they won't simply disappear overnight. Think of them as old friends who have been trying to keep you safe, even though their methods no longer serve you. When these old patterns surface, and they will, the most loving thing you can do is greet them with compassion rather than frustration. Notice when you feel that familiar urge to push, to force, to make something happen through sheer willpower. Instead of judging yourself for falling back into old habits, simply pause and breathe. Acknowledge the pattern with gentle awareness. Oh, there's that old chasing energy again. Hello, old friend. I see you trying to help me, but I'm learning a new way now. Resistance often shows up as fear when we start to embody our magnetic nature. Your nervous system, accustomed to the familiar stress of chasing, might actually feel anxious when things begin to flow more easily. Part of you might worry that if you're not pushing and striving, nothing good will happen. This fear is understandable. It's your system trying to keep you safe by sticking with what it knows. When this happens, remember that feeling afraid of ease is just another old pattern that can be gently transformed. You can speak to this fear with love. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm safe to receive good things without struggle. I'm safe to allow life to support me. I'm safe to trust in the natural flow of abundance. Sometimes resistance appears as guilt when good things start coming to you more easily. You might find yourself thinking, "This is too easy," or "I don't deserve this because I didn't work hard enough for it." These thoughts come from the old programming that equated worth with effort, value with struggle. When you notice these guilt patterns, remind yourself that ease is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is finally right. Another form resistance can take is impatience. As you begin to embody your magnetic nature, your desires may start manifesting more quickly, but not always in the timing your mind expects. Your ego might want everything to happen immediately, exactly as you've pictured it. When you feel impatience arising, this is an invitation to deepen your trust in divine timing and perfect orchestration. You can work with impatience by connecting with the part of you that knows that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The same intelligence that coordinates the movement of planets and the blooming of flowers is coordinating the manifestation of your desires. Trust this intelligence. It sees a bigger picture than your mind can comprehend, and it's arranging everything in perfect timing for your highest good. When old patterns of control try to reassert themselves, remind yourself that your job is not to manage every detail of how your desires come to fruition. Your job is to stay aligned with the feeling of what you want, to take inspired action when it arises naturally, and to remain open to receiving in ways that might surprise and delight you. One of the most powerful ways to work with resistance is through self-compassion. When you catch yourself falling back into chasing energy, instead of criticizing yourself, wrap yourself in the same love you would offer a dear friend who was learning something new. Learning to be magnetic instead of desperate is like learning any new skill. It takes practice, patience, and plenty of self-kindness. You might also notice that as you change, some people in your life resist your transformation. They might try to pull you back into old patterns or express skepticism about your new approach to life. This is often because your growth triggers their own fears and limitations. Stay loving but firm in your commitment to your new way of being. You're not responsible for making others comfortable with your evolution. Creating daily practices that support your magnetic nature helps anchor this new way of being into your everyday experience. These don't need to be complicated or time-consuming rituals. The most powerful practices are often the simplest ones, woven seamlessly into the fabric of your normal routine. Begin each morning by connecting with the feeling of gratitude before you even get out of bed. Before your mind has a chance to start its habitual worrying or planning, place your hands on your heart and feel appreciation for 3 things in your life. This could be as simple as gratitude for your comfortable bed, for the breath in your lungs, or for the possibility contained in the new day ahead. This practice immediately attunes you to the frequency of abundance and appreciation. As you move through your morning routine, practice what I call magnetic moments. These are brief pauses throughout your day where you consciously align with the feeling of your fulfilled desires. While brushing your teeth, feel into the joy of vibrant health. While making your coffee, feel into the abundance of having everything you need. While getting dressed, feel into the confidence of someone who knows their worth. Throughout your day, pay attention to your self-talk and gently redirect it when necessary. When you catch your mind saying things like, "I can't afford that," or "that never works out for me," or "I'm not the kind of person who gets lucky breaks," pause and choose a more magnetic thought. "I'm open to abundance flowing to me in surprising ways," or "good things come to me easily and naturally," or "I'm exactly the kind of person life loves to support." Practice the art of grateful expectation. This means holding your desires lightly, with both excitement and trust. Feel eager anticipation about what's coming while simultaneously being content with what is. This balanced energy of wanting and allowing is magnetic gold. It draws your desires to you while keeping you peaceful and centered in the present moment. Create a simple evening practice of releasing the day and appreciating what occurred. Before sleep, reflect on moments when you felt aligned with your magnetic nature, times when you chose trust over worry, or instances when good things flowed to you easily. Celebrating these moments, no matter how small, strengthens your new neural pathways and builds momentum for tomorrow. Keep a daily abundance journal where you record evidence of life supporting you. This might include unexpected money that came your way, a meaningful conversation with a stranger, a beautiful sunset that lifted your spirits, or a solution that appeared just when you needed it. Training your attention to notice life's support builds your trust in your magnetic nature. Practice mirror work, one of my most beloved tools for transformation. Look into your own eyes in the mirror and speak words of love and appreciation to yourself. I love you. I appreciate you. You are worthy of all good things. Life supports you completely. This practice might feel awkward at first, but it's one of the most powerful ways to reprogram your relationship with yourself and your worthiness. Include movement that feels good to your body. This doesn't mean forcing yourself through exercise you hate, but rather finding ways to move that bring you joy. Dance to music that makes you feel alive. Take walks in nature that restore your spirit, or do gentle stretches that help you feel connected to your body. When your body feels good, your magnetic field naturally becomes more attractive. Spend time in nature regularly, even if it's just a few minutes sitting under a tree or watching clouds move across the sky. Nature is the perfect teacher of magnetic attraction. Everything in the natural world knows how to receive what it needs without struggle. Let the trees, flowers, and birds remind you of your own natural ability to attract what serves your highest good. Learning to trust and surrender is perhaps the most profound aspect of living magnetically. This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up on your dreams. True surrender is active trust. It's consciously choosing to work with the intelligence of life rather than against it. Trust begins with the recognition that you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are not an isolated individual fighting against an indifferent cosmos. You are an expression of the same intelligence that creates galaxies and guides migrating birds. This intelligence knows how to fulfill your deepest desires because it's the source of those desires in the first place. When you plant a seed in your garden, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the natural process of growth. You water it, you provide it with sunlight, and you allow nature to do what it knows how to do. Your desires are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Your job is to tend them with loving attention while trusting the natural process of manifestation. Divine timing is one of the most challenging concepts for our human minds to accept, especially when we want something very much. We want what we want when we want it, which is usually right now. But just as fruit ripens in its own perfect timing, our dreams unfold according to a wisdom that sees the whole picture of our lives. Sometimes what we perceive as delay is actually divine protection. Perhaps the relationship we're longing for is being delayed because we need to grow into the person who can sustain that kind of love. Perhaps the career opportunity we want is coming later because we need to develop certain skills or connections first. Perhaps the financial abundance we seek is being orchestrated in a way that will be sustainable and aligned with our highest good. When you feel impatient with the timing of your manifestations, return to trust by remembering all the times in your life when something that seemed delayed turned out to be perfectly timed. Think about opportunities that came exactly when you were ready for them, even though you thought you were ready much earlier. Recall relationships that began at exactly the right moment, even though you had been lonely before then. Surrender also means releasing your attachment to exactly how your desires must manifest. Your mind creates very specific pictures of how your dreams should unfold, but the universe often has more creative and abundant solutions than your limited perspective can imagine. The love you're seeking might come in a form you never expected. The abundance you desire might flow through channels you never considered. The healing you need might arrive through methods you never knew existed. This willingness to be surprised by the universe's creativity is a hallmark of magnetic living. Instead of insisting that your good must come in a particular package, you remain open to receiving it in whatever form serves your highest joy. This openness exponentially increases the number of channels through which your desires can reach you. Patience in this context is not passive waiting, it's active trust combined with joyful expectation. It's continuing to align yourself with the feeling of your fulfilled desires while remaining peacefully unattached to when and how they appear. This kind of patience is actually a high vibration that accelerates manifestation because it contains no resistance, no desperation, no energetic pushing against the natural flow. When doubt arises about whether your desires will truly manifest, return to the present moment and find evidence of life's support that already exists in your experience. Feel the air flowing into your lungs. Notice the blood flowing through your veins. Observe the intricate perfection of your body's functions. If life can coordinate all of these miracles without your conscious involvement, surely it can arrange for your dreams to unfold as well. As we come to the completion of our time together, I want you to know that you are standing at the threshold of a magnificent transformation. You're no longer the same person who began this journey with me. Something has shifted in your understanding. Something has awakened in your consciousness. Something has remembered itself in your heart. You now know that you are not meant to chase your dreams like a hungry animal pursuing prey. You are meant to attract them like a flower attracts butterflies, through the natural beauty and magnetic power of your authentic being. You understand that your worth is not something you earn, but something you embody, not something you prove, but something you remember. The old patterns of struggle and striving that once felt so necessary may still surface from time to time, but now you recognize them for what they are: outdated programs that no longer serve your highest good. You have new tools, new understanding, and most importantly, a new relationship with yourself and with life itself. Your magnetic future is not some distant possibility that might happen if you're lucky. It's the natural result of aligning with who you truly are. As you continue to practice feeling worthy, thinking abundantly, and trusting the perfect timing of life, you'll find that ease becomes your new normal. Synchronicities will multiply. Opportunities will appear with surprising frequency. The right people will cross your path at exactly the right moments. But perhaps most importantly, you'll discover that the peace and fulfillment you've been seeking have been available to you all along. They weren't hidden in some future achievement or external circumstance. They were waiting patiently for you to stop chasing long enough to feel them, to recognize them, to welcome them home. You are a magnificent being with unlimited potential for joy, love, abundance, and creative expression. You deserve all the good that life has to offer, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are beloved by the universe, supported by life itself, and worthy of every dream your heart has ever held. Remember this truth. Live from this truth. and watch as your world transforms into a reflection of the magnetic, abundant, worthy being you have always been. The chase is over, dear one. The attraction has begun, and your life will never be the same. Your magnetic journey continues with every breath, every choice, every moment of remembering who you really are. Trust it, allow it, receive it. You are so deeply loved, and you are exactly where you're meant to be.